Hello children, we are going to discuss Ampere's circuital law today. We have already discussed magnetic field due to circular current carrying wire and straight current carrying wire, and Bart-Savart's law also we have discussed. Now we are going to discuss Ampere's circuital law. Ampere's circuital law. Now what is Ampere's circuital law? We already discussed that when current flows through a wire produces a magnetic field, right? Now imagine a situation here. We have a current carrying wire. If you use right hand rule, then it produces a ring here. This is a magnetic field, right? The farther I will go away from the wire, the bigger will be this circle. The magnetic field is what? Circular. Suppose I consider a point P here, a distance R from the wire. When current is flowing through the wire, it is producing magnetic field at point what? P, right? If I choose another point outside, suppose this point is Q, then again the magnetic field will be something like this. This is a point Q, so on and so forth. Now Ampere's law says that if you integrate magnetic field which is produced by the current carrying wire, now this wire can have any shape. It can be a straight wire, it can also be what? A coiled wire. Either way, if you integrate magnetic field over a given length, right, this is called line integral of magnetic field, then this is mu0 times threading current. Meaning if I consider any Amperian loop, for example, suppose this I consider as an Amperian loop, then within this loop how much current is flowing, that's called what? Threading current. Let's understand the concept of threading current is what? Suppose you consider a solenoid. This is solenoid. The current is coming from behind. You can imagine, this is how the current is coming from behind. Yes. The current will be entering here and leaving at this point, right? Something like this. Imagine a situation like this. We are answering what the meaning of this threading current I. Suppose current through each turn is I, and I consider the solenoid from point A to point B here, right? And suppose the n turns here. How many turns? N turns. And current through one turn is how much? I. Then threading current will be equal to n into I. Current through one turn is I, then n turns will be how much? N into I. This is called threading current. Threading current is the current which is enclosed by a given loop or a given surface. But the loop has to be a closed loop, right? By very name, the moment I use this word loop, I mean what? A closed path. We've already seen this. So what is Ampere's circuital law? The law says that line integral of magnetic field over a closed loop is equal to mu0 times the threading current, right? Threading current is actually the enclosed current. What current? Enclosed current, which is located inside the Amperian loop. So the law says line integral of magnetic field over a closed loop is equal to, line integral of magnetic field over a closed loop is equal to mu0 times the threading current. The threading current. This is a statement for Ampere's law. So Ampere's law is something like what? Like Gauss theorem, Gauss law which you did. Gauss law, if you remember, then E dot ds is equal to charge enclosed by permittivity of free space here. Line integral magnetic field is mu0 times the enclosed current. Gauss law we use for calculating electric field and Ampere's law we use for calculating magnetic fields, right? So it is to be kept in mind that both the laws are similar. Now validity of Gauss law depends upon the validity of which law? Coulomb's law. However, validity of Ampere's circuital law depends upon the validity of Biot-Savart's law. Okay. Now here we will be discussing what is, alright children, we will be seeing what is validity of, how we establish this law, Ampere's circuital law, proof of Ampere's circuital law. We will see how we can establish this law. Just like I said, we have Gauss law which can be established with the help of Coulomb's law. We can also establish Ampere's circuital law by using Biot-Savart's law very easily. Let's see here, we have a straight wire. When a current will flow through the wire, it will produce a magnetic field. We already know this is a established fact, right? Let's consider an Amperian loop at a distance r, but because we know that if I use the right hand rule, then this will be the direction of the magnetic field, right? So at distance r, we can consider a loop like this, which is representing the direction of the magnetic field. Now r can be anywhere. All these points are located at what distance? R. This is also r, this is also r, this is also r, right? Now if I use right hand rule, I consider here a small length dl of the wire. I consider small length dl of the loop. Right? At this point, magnetic field is also directed in the what? Same direction B. So you can see that dl and B are directed in the what? Same direction. If I take suppose a point out here, this is dl, this is dl, and this is also magnetic field, both in the what? Same direction. So at any point of time, the angle between dl and B will be how much? 0 degree, right? So if I consider a straight wire carrying current I, Now children, I know that the magnetic field is circular around the wire. If I take any point here on the loop, the magnetic field is going to be the what? Same, right? So B dot dl will be, for this closed loop, will be B dl cos 0. We get theta is how much here? 0 degree. You can see the angle between dl and B is how much? 0. So how much do you get? B dl. Now B is a constant, it will come out. The loop is closed. So if I go on adding dl, what will happen? It will complete the full circumference, right? So it will be, dl will vary from 0 to 2 pi r. So that means what we get here? We get B into L 0 to 2 pi r, right? In other words, line integral of magnetic field for this closed surface, you can give this closed surface symbol also, will be B into 2 pi r. But children, you have already done that if you have an infinitely long wire, then how much is the value of B? Mu naught I upon 2 pi r. into 2 pi r. So children, you can see that 2 pi r will cancel. So in the end, what do we get? What we get is line integral of magnetic field is equal to mu 0 I. So you can see that validity of Ampere's circuitry law depends upon validity of Biot-Savart's law that we discuss out here. Clear? And we got B dot dl is equal to how much? Mu into I. Okay, where I is our threading current. Now we will be seeing some applications of Ampere's circuitry law, and these applications are important for you. Okay. Alright children. Now we will be seeing applications of Ampere's circuitry law. As you know, Ampere's circuitry law is being used for calculating magnetic field, right, due to current carrying wire, right. We will be seeing number 1. So here application of Ampere's circuitry law. I'll rub this. The first application we are going to do is magnetic field due to a solenoid. Magnetic field due to a solenoid. Now children, what is a solenoid? Solenoid basically is an arrangement consisting of large number of turns on a cylindrical frame. Suppose I consider this to be a long frame, right, and then I wind up wires on this becomes a solenoid, right. Remember, in case of a solenoid, the frame will be circular and the length will be very large compared to the diameter of the frame. Okay. Now when I consider, for example, this to be a solenoid, then there can be two directions of the currents. Either the current will be entering from here and coming out from here, or the other way around, right. Now what is a solenoid? A solenoid basically will contain a number of what? Turns, right, and each turn can be considered as what? Like a circular wire, like a circular loop. And remember, we already did in the beginning of this chapter, magnetic field due to circular loop. So imagine a solenoid is like this. Current is entering here from behind. Look at my hand, and coming out like this. So you can see this will be the north pole. Can you see? This will be the north pole, right? Current is coming from behind like this. So this becomes north pole. If I use this convention, current is coming from behind like this. Yes. And then finally it is coming out here, right? So current is entering here and current is leaving here. So I can assume a situation, current is leaving here like this, it is entering here, so this becomes a cross, this becomes a dot. You know na? The inside normally is represented by a cross and outside is normally represented by what? A dot. Similarly, current is coming out here at the top, entering here, so cross, and this is dot, cross, dot, cross, dot, cross, dot, cross, dot. This is how it is coming out. Clear? Dot here. Now this one turn, if I consider, this one turn is like what? This one turn is like a circular loop, and you can imagine a number of current rings are placed adjacent to each other very closely. Let's see here once again. The solenoid could be something like this, right? Consider a loop like this. We have already done that at the center, the magnetic field due to this loop will be like this, along the axis of the loop, right? Now comes the next loop. The next loop I can imagine something like this. There is another loop out here. Remember, these loops are not touching. Due to this, they will be fringing like this. Similarly, field due to the second loop again will be along the axis. This is the direction of the current, and you can imagine it is separating like this on the sides. You will place another ring here. Like this, again the field will be along the axis, and the lines here will bend outwards like this. We've already discussed this. What do you find? That in fact, field will exist only inside these rings, and at points outside, current here is coming out and current here is entering. So anywhere outside the circular rings here, the fields will be cancelling, right? So we can conclude like this, that at the center the magnetic field will be something like this, straight and parallel to the axis. However, at all points above, like suppose I take a point P here and I take a point Q here and I take a point R here, and keep in mind that a solenoid magnetic field inside the solenoid will be parallel to the axis. But if I consider any point above and below on the sides, then the magnetic field here and here will be how much? 0. Magnetic field at P will be magnetic field at Q, and this will be magnetic field outside, and magnetic field outside to the solenoid will be how much? 0. Must bear in mind. And field will exist only inside the solenoid. Okay. Now keeping this concept in mind, we are going to apply Ampere's circuital law for calculating magnetic field to a solenoid. Okay. So what we learnt here is that magnetic field anywhere inside the solenoid will be parallel to the axis of the solenoid, and it will vanish at all points lying what? Outside the solenoid. This has to be kept in mind, which is very important. Now we are going to actually calculate magnetic field to solenoid. So let's imagine the solenoid is something like this. The length of the solenoid is L. Length of the solenoid is how much? L. And then here, this is how the current is entering. Like this is the solenoid, right? So for calculating magnetic field to the solenoid, what I'll do is I'll consider a certain section of the solenoid. Let's consider a section of the solenoid. I'll name this solenoid, this section as a rectangular section I've taken. A, B, let's not use B because B is similar magnetic field. P, Q, R, S, and this is how we are going: P to Q, Q to R, R to S, and S to P, right? Now I'll make certain assumptions. I'll say let number of turns on unit length is equal to N. We also call it turn density. Number of turns on unit length is N. Total number of turns is equal to capital N, and current through each turn is equal to I. So these are certain assumptions I am making, and the total length of solenoid is how much? L. Clear? Now I want to consider how much is the magnetic field. For that I am considering a rectangular path here, PQ RS. I will go from P to Q, Q to R, R to S and S to P. This will be an Amperian what? Loop that I am considering, right? So total number of turns will be N into L, and this actually we are writing as capital N. Clear? Now using Ampere's circuital law. Remember children, we want to calculate magnetic field where? Through this Amperian loop, right? But we already know that field outside will be 0 anywhere, right? So we will start from P to Q. We have B dot dl. We are going from P to Q plus next we are going from Q to R. We have Q to R, B dot dl, plus again we will be going from R to S, B dot dl, plus finally I will be coming from S to P, is equal to mu naught I. Yes, if I use circuital law. Let's evaluate here how much is B dot dl from P to Q. Let's answer it very nicely. As I go from P to Q, then dl is along what? PQ. dl is along PQ, and the magnetic field is also what? Inside is along the axis. This is B. That means as I move along PQ, then how much is the angle between dl and B? That is 0. Yes. So I will be writing here B dl cos 0 plus. Now if I go from Q to R, then dl will be along what? QR, and B is along QB. So this angle is how much? 90 degree. Yes. So what I will be writing? B dl cos 90 plus, as you go from R to S is very important. R to S, this R to S as you move, I am moving outside the solenoid, and magnetic field is how much? 0. So I will be writing 0 into dl, which obviously is what? 0. And as I move from S to P, again you see dl is perpendicular to B, so theta is how much? 90. So plus B dl cos 90 is equal to mu naught I. Clear? Now I will be simplifying this. We put in the value B dl. This part is 0, this is 0, this is 0, all are 0. This is mu naught I plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 is equal to mu naught I. B dl mu naught I. And how much the value of I? The total current which is enclosed. So total number of turns is N. N is how much of N into L. So I will be equal to NL into I. Right? Now when I integrate dl, minimal of dl is how much of 0 and maximum is how much of L. So what do we get? B into L is equal to mu naught NL into I. If we cancel out L and L, then how much is B? Mu naught N into I. So we develop this important formula which gives us the magnetic field to a solenoid. Magnetic field to the solenoid B is equal to mu naught N into I. Right? But many times number of turns on the unit length will not be given. So here I can modify, but N is equal to capital N by L. I can put this value of small n, turn density, and if I put it here, then B is equal to mu naught N I by L. D, the magnetic field inside the solenoid. Anywhere inside the solenoid, magnetic field is going to be mu naught Ni by L. Now, it can be shown that magnetic field near the ends of the solenoid is half the magnetic field at the center, and magnetic field at the center is how much here? This much. So, we come across another formula that you should remember. B near the end of the solenoid is half magnetic field at the center, and therefore you come across this formula that magnetic field near ends of the solenoid will be half mu naught N into I. So, this is another formula that you should remember. Okay. So, children, we discuss magnetic field to a solenoid. We will be discussing now to toroid. Alright, children. We are going to discuss magnetic field to toroid. A toroid is, the word toroid comes from the Greek word torus. Torus means what? A ring. A ring is something like this. This is magnified to a ring. Yes. The frame is like what? Ring shaped frame, and on this ring shaped frame I am winding off large number of wires, right? This is called toroidal solenoid. In short, we call it toroid. It is also called donut solenoid, okay, in number of books. Now, this again a similar case. If I imagine this to be the frame, then I can imagine a large number of what? Circular loops wound on this frame. This is what it is. If I consider, for example, one particular circle, like this is the frame, suppose, and on this frame I am winding of one circle like this, carrying current like this, right? Current is entering here and current is leaving here. Current is entering here, current is leaving here, right? This is how it will go on. So, I can mark this as cross, and I can mark this as dots, right? Either can be either way around, like this can be dots where the current is leaving, and this can be cross, right? In either of the situations, you can see on one side we got only what? Crosses, dots, and the other side we got what? All crosses, right? So, means if I consider, if I draw an imaginary loop here, then inside currents are all coming out and outside all currents are going inside. This to be kept in mind, means the currents are in the same direction. Imagine one loop out here. Direction of magnetic field we know due to a circular loop is along the axis. The axis of the loop will be something like this. Consider and the loop out here. Again it will be like this. So, this field will go on adding up, and they will generate the magnetic field to the entire what? Toroid, right? Now, so toroid is a solenoid, is like a solenoid having what? A ring shaped frame, nothing else. So, this field will go on adding, it will generate the what? They will add up and they will generate the net magnetic field, right? So, we are going to calculate magnetic field to a toroidal solenoid or toroid at a point outside, at a point what? Inside the toroid, and located anywhere inside here, okay? I will take magnetic field, I will make certain assumptions. Let number of turns per unit length is equal to N, clear, and current is I. So, total number of turns will be what, children? Circumference into N. On unit turn you have N turns, and what is the total length of the frame? 2 pi r. So, total number of turns will be what? Circumference into N. So, what will be the threading current? Threading current will be 2 pi r N into I. Threading current is what? total number of turns into current through each turn. That is going to be the total current. Clear? Now I will be choosing a magnetic field located outside the solenoid, case 1. Magnetic field outside the toroid. Suppose I want magnetic field outside anywhere here at a point P. So, what will be your Amperian loop? Amperian loop will be this. For a point outside at P, I can consider what? I can consider flat surface to be the surface, right, which is containing the Amperian loop. It's something like this, right? Now, if I consider Amperian surface to be this, you can see the net enclosed current will be how much? 0. Study carefully. You can see as many currents are entering here, as many currents are leaving here. Very important. At any point outside, what will be threading current? Threading current I is equal to how much? 0. At any point outside, if I consider threading current, I is how much here? 0. Clear? Now, if I using Ampere's circuital law, if you use circuital law, then what do you get? B dot dl line integral is equal to mu naught into threading current I. So here we know threading current I becomes how much here? 0. Let's do like this. Current to each turn will denote by small I, and threading current will denote by capital I, so that you understand. Otherwise, if I write here I is 0, then you'll be thinking small I is also 0. No. Why threading current is 0? Let's understand once again. The as many crosses, as many dots. So both the currents are what? Cancelling each other. Net current is how much? 0. So if I solve this, BDL is equal to how much, children? 0. So B outside is 0. How much B outside? 0. We calculate what is magnetic field at a point outside a toroid, and how much we got? 0. Now next we'll be seeing case 2. Now we'll be seeing magnetic field inside the toroid. For see magnetic field inside the toroid, we'll magnify this toroid a little bit. Let's see. This is the toroid. Let's magnify this toroid. Clear? Now this is how the current is going inside, coming outside. Yes, this is how the current is coming outside. Now I want to calculate here at this point. Suppose this point, suppose you call Q, located at distance what? Small. Then you must select your Amperian surface, Amperian loop. So this will be my Amperian loop. It is closing all the points here. Now, when I look at this loop here, Amperian loop, it becomes very interesting because I have to see the threading currents which are enclosed within the Amperian loop. So this dotted circle becomes your Amperian loop. Here you can see only the currents going inside are located. It is an important point for you to note. That means all the currents which are located inside this dotted Amperian loop, all these currents are in the same direction. At a point outside you saw that they were actually cancelling out. There is as many currents entering as many were leaving. So net current was 0. But here you can see all these currents are in the same direction, all across. Means all are going where? Inside. In another scenario you can imagine that all these currents are coming out and currents are entering out here. But the fact remains that all the currents which are enclosed within this Amperian loop, they are in the same direction, they are not cancelling each other. Now this is to be kept in mind. So threading current will be current I will be equal to N into 2 pi r into how much? I. Let's take current is done as small I and total threading current is capital I. So that will make sense because I and I will not be answering the same. I is equal to N into 2 pi r into small I. Clear? Now if I use Ampere's circuital law, using circuital law, then what do you get, children? B dot dl mu naught into I. Now B dot dl, what is the angle between B and dl? That is how much I have? 0. Both are in the same direction. Like this you can see. This will be the direction of B and this will also be the direction of dl. B and dl are in the same direction, so angle between them is how much? 0. Now if I use that here, then I get B dl mu naught into I is how much? N into 2 pi r into I. B comes out, dl 0 to 2 pi r is mu naught N into 2 pi r into I. So if you integrate, children, then B into 2 pi r will be equal to mu naught N into 2 pi r into y. Now if you cancel out 2 pi r and 2 pi r, then how much is B? B is how much? Mu naught N into y. Now the special property of magnetic field due to toroid is that this field will be same throughout. Now let us see what will happen if we take a point between the toroid and the center. Suppose I take a point here as R. If I take a point between the toroid and the center, then what will be the magnetic field? We will be saying case 3, okay? We will calculate magnetic field at a point inside here at a point R. So just like you remember we used to take Gaussian surface, here we have to take what? An Amperian loop, a closed Amperian loop at distance R I have taken from the center. Now children, if I consider this to be the Amperian loop, then how much is current through inside this loop? There is no threading current. All the currents are located what? Outside. So case 3, children, threading current will be 0 because you can see that all the currents are located where? Outside, right? There is no current inside this Amperian loop. So if I use circuital law, B dot dl is equal to mu naught I. Mu naught I will be how much? 0. So B into integration of dl is equal to 0. So how much is B? B is equal to 0. So magnetic field anywhere inside is how much? 0. So children, in this video we discussed magnetic field due to a solenoid and toroid. Okay, thank you.